Hi and welcome back to Acting with Kira. In this video I'm going to talk about immersive theatre and how the narrative is developed through the play and how the audience is led along to see the storyline. So, as touched on in my previous video on immersive theatre, the basic principles of immersive theatre are that the audience is immersed within the world that the show lives in, that there is no distinctive space between the audience and the actors. Generally, the audience move around the space as well. In fact, I think they always move around the space. And those are really the defining factors, as well as there's always an element of choice, whether it be if the audience chooses where to go, or if the audience has decisions to make along the way, or just their conversation with the actors in the show. There's always some element of free will in there. So immersive shows differ quite a lot, and there's lots of different ways in which they can take the audience through the narrative arc of the play. The simplest way is if there is one group of audience members who are led through the show from start to finish. So they aren't given autonomy over where to go, and the actors lead them from room to room. So you may have more than one show going on at a time in a play like this, because it can be done on a schedule system. So say you have audience one and they have to go through 4 rooms. When they're in room one, they go to room 1, and when they're in room 2, they could start the next show and bring the second audience into room 1. Or if they want to leave a bit more of a gap, they could wait until the first audience is in room 3 to bring in the second audience into room 1. And each audience group will go through the same rooms in the same order. This is obviously the easiest one in terms of for the performers to control, and as they know where the audience will be, so they can predict a lot more of what the show is going to be like, and they know what time to start the next round. And so they just keep doing the same scenes in the same room on a schedule. The next type is if you have, again, the actors leading the audience through the space, but you can have more than one group. So 2 or more groups. And in a show like this, I think there would only be one show going on at a time. I don't know if it could work on a rota schedule system as well. I'm not sure, possibly. So what would happen in a show like this is you might all, say there's one audience time, you all arrive at a certain time, and there'll be something at the start of the show, a choice or a decision you have to make, which will define which group you will be split into. Often in shows like this, they try to get you to split up from the people you went with so that you have different experiences, and that I think you're more open to the experience if you're on your own. So say there were 4 groups, A, B, C and D, and each of those would be led by the actors on their different paths. They might overlap at some points, they might see other groups at other points. Usually with this, they'd also have some kind of status assigned to them as well, and if they usually end up in the same place at the end, and if they do, it means that there's a final point that each group is getting to and the actors are taking them to. But what's nice about this is that each distinct group has a different view on what's happened, a different point of view and different experiences. So that's why it's also fun if a group of friends who go together are made to split up, because then they have lots of stories to tell each other at the end about what the show was to them. Then the final type I'm going to talk about is if the audience are not guided at all. They have freedom to roam wherever they want, which obviously means that the show is a lot more unpredictable. It's harder for the performers to know when a scene should be going on where. The difficulty with this is the danger is an audience member could wander off somewhere where there's just nothing going on. So to counter this, there'd have to be lots of different scenes going on throughout the space, as well as things which may be actors journeying on a certain way, so some audience members might follow them, that will lead them through to another scene, or sets to look more inviting or less inviting, and lighting and music to direct. If there's something going on over here, you're more likely to be drawn to there. So in that kind of narrative, when I've experienced it, it's been a really large overarching storyline, but it's not so important to the production that you see the linear through line of the characters. Your role is really to be a participant of the world and get as much feeling and experience in the world by seeing little snapshots of different scenes that go on. Some might be the main characters and some might really not. But you come out with a really unique experience and take on this world. When I've seen a show like this, we did all end up in the same space. So there was a finale scene which you were all somehow directed to, even though it was such a large space. So in that one, I think when you are free to roam, the narrative is still there, but it's really not as important that you see every aspect of it. Whereas the ones that the actors lead you through, they really want you to see each part of everything that happens in each of those rooms is really important to your experience. So, as you can see, there's lots of different ways in which the narrative can be played out. The importance of a linear narrative changes with different styles of immersive theatre. The narrative is really important, and for others, the set and the evocative feeling that the world creates is the most important thing, the sensory experience. So they're all different and they're all aiming for something unique to each other. So I hope that's been helpful and helped you understand the process a little bit more. If you have any questions about it, pop it in the comments below and I will answer it in another video. Hit subscribe to see more videos like this, and thank you so much for watching.